your character has a really intimate relationship with your horse.
What game were you playing? No, you're right, he does. Yeah. He does. So a lot of the horse stuff was actually, going back to the voice acting and performance capture, a lot of the horse stuff was actually voice acting. I think it was about 2 days in the booth doing that stuff. And, you know, is Arthur's horse a mare or is it a stallion? And then there's different dialogue if you have a level 4 bonding than if you have a level 1 bonding. You know, you're not quite as affectionate, etc. So we did that. And a couple of weeks later, I come back in and one of our wonderful assistant directors, Gethin Aldous, he says, Raj, we got to do those horse lines again. I was like, why? And he said, well, it's a little too intimate. You know, it sounds like you're not talking to a horse. And I was like, what do you mean? And he played it back, and I was like, you're all right, girl. Easy, girl. And I was like, yeah, you're right. We should do those again, man. A lot of the new actors would always do the same thing. So they'd come into the volume, which would be a room about this size, and there'd be a big screen up there, too, where you'd see yourself in-game. And they'd always go, oh, wow, this is so cool.
A fun story. I couldn't even tell my nephews and my niece. You know, so Christmas time, it was kind of, I'd go home and I'd see everybody, oh, things are great. I can't tell you why, but they're great. But so my nephew Willie, who I think was maybe 11 at the time, he comes up to me.
He was 11 then?
Then, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Right? I think he was 10 when I started. And your son was just born, and now he's 6, right?
Yeah.
So things happen. This takes some time. But Willie came up to me and said, he looked me in the eye, and he said, Uncle Ben, I know what you're doing. You are working on Red Dead Redemption 2. And I looked him in the eye, and I said, I swear to you, Willie, I'm not.
Wow.
And because I believed that it was going to be called Red Dead Redux or Red Dead Rebellion or Red Dead something else.
Yeah, because Revolver, Redemption, we thought they might have done it that way. Yeah.
So the first teaser drops, and they bring us onto the volume. We got to see it. This was one perk. We got to see that first teaser, that beautiful, beautiful sort of tone poem. You see Arthur walking out from the sun on the horizon, and it has that great line you do about...
You better run and don't look back.
Exactly. So that one drops, and we're sitting there and we're watching it with the entire production company on this big screen, watching it, and I'm loving this. Oh my God, this is so amazing. Look at this thing. And then it gets to the end and it goes, Red Dead Redemption 2. And everybody else is like, yes! And I'm like, I am such a bad uncle.
But people usually just ask me if I have some money for them, and they like me to scream Lenny at the top of my lungs, which is awesome. I don't mind it. It's great. The fact that you guys love that, you know, I mean, it makes me happy. And then every once in a while, if I cough, you know, people are like, that's awesome.
This is a question from Mr. Davis, but Mr. Clark can answer it too. What's the quickest way to Tahiti?
Faith.
Hi.
Hey.
So I've played the game a couple times, and after killing a lot of people for reasons I don't completely understand, I was wondering, what exactly was Dutch's grand plan?
For the last time, make a lot of noise, make a lot of money, and get the hell out of here. I don't see it's not that complicated. I remember one guy came into the green room and he said to me, how much do they care about these lines being, you know, perfect? And I was like, well, you know, the owner of the company wrote it, so I think you probably want to be off book. but watching other people struggle with my pain was enjoyable. We had a take where it's me and Rob, and we're doing this scene, and I'm on the edge of the cliff, and I'm wearing cowboy boots, and there's a little lip, it's about a foot off the ground, and there's a crash mat behind it. And I'm saying, you know, when I'm gone, they'll find another monster. And then my boot clipped on the edge of the cliff, and I'm start to fall backwards, and I go, our time's passed, and I fell off the back.
They should have kept that.
And Rod was so sincere. He was like, did you mean to do that, you crazy person? I said, no, of course I didn't mean to do that. And I said, but I'd really love to have been able to see the expression on my face. And Rod goes, with a twinkle in his eye, oh, we can do that. So they put it up on the big screen, me going, our time is passed. So I fell back.
Here's another fun fact. Spoiler alert, but at the very end, when the credits are rolling, after you've completed the epilogue as John, and you know those little montage bits that they have, and there's one where you see Mary visiting Arthur's gravestone. You guys remember that part? I was Mary. Yeah, I milked that one.
You got to be at your own funeral.
And of course, the real Mary, Julie Jesnick, was amazing to work with. But she, you know, she wasn't in that day. So, Raj, do you mind standing by your gravestone and looking sad? Yeah, sure.
You nailed it.
Thanks.
Yeah. And then I moved out to Los Angeles in '99 because I heard they needed another actor, and I thought I could help. And you know, my bread and butter's been pretty much TV, Big Guy Number 2, I'm Your Man, Large Russian, I'm pretty good at that. You know, I'd often be the guy that you think he's the killer, and then I'm not the killer.
My first voiceover gig was for a slot machine called Reservoir Frogs. And it was a takeoff of Reservoir Dogs.
No.
Yeah. So and they wanted a Michael Madsen sound-alike, you know, and so I would just go, cherries, bananas. Depending, of course, which fruit appeared. So that was my first foray into that. That was quite fun.
So you had to be a frog and.
Yeah, man. And then remember, one of the frogs don't have ears, so it was a frog holding a human ear and a gun. And he was kind of smiling, like, oh, look what I just did, you know.
I can be cantankerous. It's true. But of the things that I got in a snit about was having to record this dialogue of if Arthur was treating me disrespectfully at camp. And I was just like, that would not happen. I would not allow it. He would not survive it. But we had to, you know, they would explain to me that it's not all, you know, the character has some agency. The player's allowed to fuck with you, pardon my French. And I was like, okay, all right, so begrudgingly.
Throw dynamite at you.
Who does that? Nobody does that. Okay, all right. Honest. Yeah, Mr. Marston.
Could you just do Lenny one time?
Lenny! Thank you. Someone asked me to cough, and I did that, and that also got a round of applause.
I wanted to ask, are there any future roles or sort of things we'll see you guys in? Maybe do a sort of Santa Monica? And I would pay for a Dutch Vanderlyn Google Maps voice, literally.
Yeah.
Actual money. So I was just wondering if there's any future stuff you can see yourself looking forward to.
Dutch would steer you wrong, wouldn't he?
Do either of you play musical instruments?
I don't.
I play harmonica, but they didn't ask for Dutch to play harmonica. I think they should have.